Okay, Bill, it is your nickel. Let's go ahead and listen to Bill now.
Okay. Starting back on September 30th, when we had to, by state mandate, meet a deadline to place our tentative budget in the hands of the town clerk, we were at that point in the A&DA fund about an 18.9% increase and a very slight decrease for the B and DB funds. A week later, actually last week I guess, a little more than a week ago, Phil and Doug and I resumed and we did some other reviews and were able to make some very good cuts down to, in the A&DA fund, down to about 11.83% of the A&DA funds. The B fund and DB fund stayed quite a bit unchanged. We made some cuts in B, but we raised something else up in DB for the Highway Improvement Capital Fund, where we've been running a little bit thinner than we wanted to run. We needed to beef that up, so you won't see much of a change. This week we worked a little bit more and were able to get it down just a little bit more. It's basically the same as it was a week ago. You will notice that the ADA fund moved from 11.83 down to 11.34. That basically, that whole cut is about 0.5% is due to the presentation of a final budget from the town clerk. We had estimated before that time. That is due in large to the voting machines, the personnel that the county charges us for. We had a much higher rate as we thought was going to happen, and then we got figures in from the county on calculations, how to calculate it, and it was a nice change among some other line items for the town clerk. So that's basically mostly the change there between last week and this week. Right now, currently, we're at 11.34 for the village and about 2.84 for the town. And that 2.84 is the entire budget at this moment. The page 2 and 3 really is not changed at all. The last two sessions we had, I gave you items that were the large items that were affected in our budgets, up or down, revenues in, revenues out, expenses up, expenses down. I don't think there's any change in there other than perhaps the DB fund, page 2, bottom section. Changed the highway capital improvement. We had 180,000 in there. I took that back about 10,000. Not much of a change there. So there's not much to review on those two sheets other than questions you might still have.
I think it's interesting for the, wish we had public here for this, but if on a $400,000 house in the village, this increase is about $42.36 a year.
Well, more importantly,
and then for a town resident on a $400,000 market value house, it's $35.28 a year. And then you can look at the increments. You're saying we need to move along on those very quickly. Now, if we negotiate settlement, that's one thing. If we get into long-term litigation and appraisals and whatnot, that's something else. And we tried, when Phil and I and Bill worked on this, to put a degree of realism in this. Okay? You don't want to be so conservative that you just got money in the bank for everything and have a 34% tax increase. And we've got it down to 11.34. We think that's very doable.
For an overall 2.8%.
Right.
For the whole town-wide,
right.
2.8% will be the net result of this overall.
But when I present this budget to the board in final form on November 8th, I will go through the background of what I've just shared with you. Right. Okay. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, I got it.
Just trying to follow this. First of all, how do you get a decrease of 100% in PDR? I mean, we're still paying out PDR, right?
That would be a new application, PDR.
Well, what it is you took an increase last year to cover it. This year is none.
So zero.
Oh,
it's zero.
We had one last
so
year.
it's not really a 100% decrease then, right?
It's a 100% decrease in new activity.
Oh, new activity. Okay, yeah, because we didn't do one. Okay,
right.
I thought it was 100% decrease in
Wouldn't we,
the,
Can I have a drag on that cigarette? No.
So anyway,
No, the zero debt for PDR.
so anyway, moving right along here, I understand the first two, now I'm in 2011, projected revenues, I believe. I understand that, the fund balances are decreased to 200,000, court fines, we've been talking about that for quite a long time, that's being decreased. But then, the two questions I really had was mortgage tax and parkland fees. First, mortgage tax, I thought that was decreasing, not increasing.
That decreased over the past 2 years. It decreased severely. Last year when we placed a budget of $225,000, we came down quite a bit on that. Right now we are trending above that.
Oh,
And
okay.
feel
So we're trending up and we
fairly
get
confident.
So that's a realistic figure to think
yeah,
that we
we
can
can
get
be close to
275 for 2011.
That's our projection.
And I thought we were out of money in parkland fees.
We're getting more money.
We will be.
Oh, this is projected
Yeah, the
for
projected increase.
the projected increases
I mean, revenue, yeah,
to the tune of 200,000
at least.
Correct.
in 2011,
Yeah.
at least.
Well, if you take, Heritage Estates, they're gonna put a shovel in the ground in April, they say.
Right.
Okay, it's 75 homes.
And is that, when is the parkland fees paid? Is that
At the
paid?
time you get final approval.
Oh, final approval.
Yes.
Then and there.
Oh,
We also have Pursunes, we have, A&L Acres, and there's several of them. And we were conservative on this.
Oh, yeah.
What's the conservative number in case it would fall through? But yeah,
Do you recall what it is per unit?
$3,000.
Yeah.
3,000 per unit.
In the Heritage final approval alone, that covers the total amount that
Oh, yeah.
we put in there.
Right.
Okay, but good questions, George.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we allotting the same amount of money to the drug and recreation this year as we did last year?
At this point, we are. And as a reminder, George, I did not get a final budget from them.
Yeah.
We're not the lead agency for them this year, so it's not like I have to have it for public. But we do want to depend on the number. So right now, your board.
So right now you have 60,000.
That's correct.
Correct, and that's all I can perceive. And
I want to bring it up, remember last year we criticized the village being over 60,000,
Yeah.
I didn't know what, okay. I'm not worried about it, I just want to.
The JRC, you see the budget meeting is tonight.
Oh, okay, so.
Oh, that's
But no, I'll
towards the-
get the information.
Yeah, I'm
They
just
have a
curious to
budget
see where
for-
they come to on that.
Can I just take it out? Oh, that'll be good, because I know,
Yeah,
we
cooperated.
Kevin and, the guy from, Orange Estates was working on it. Oh, good.
Okay.
All right, good. Yeah.
Very
Maybe
good.
I'll get something, or, you can call Mary too.
Well, we need an approved budget from your board. I mean, not something two guys say, up here it is. And,
Oh, I see.
we'll need an approved budget, that
Yeah, well,
says
that's
this is
fine.
what we can
I'll
use.
request it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Any other questions? Bill, thank you very much for
Thank you,
saying.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank you for Phil, and thank you for Doug. No, you just want to, I think people can swallow this one, but
Oh,
I don't want to speak
oh.
very much.
Well, we adopted the pay-as-you-go policy. And we paid down all the debt, or not all of it, but we paid down so much debt that all that interest, and those fees that we pay, the attorney fees to rebond, or whatever we have to do, we don't have to pay.
You don't have to.
And it has made a tremendous impact, but we felt the pain. Everybody in this town felt the pain.
Well,
But you know what?
what I'm reading
We
about
are-
all the surrounding community,
Oh.
we're talking 18%.
Oh, absolutely.
So with
We
this,
are.
Let's go back to
Realistic budget.
2006.
You know?
I mean, just for the record, since we instituted pay-as-you-go, don't borrow in 2006. And this is going to be part of the November
Would this be the debt
presentation.
schedule?
How many vans have we paid off?
Okay. Actually, that's on my desk now. I'm almost done with it, but we do in the debt schedule
Right.
year by year, so I'll have that for you.
But what Phil is saying is that it's not just the interest, it's the principal and interest. One of the things we're going to pay off this year is the road improvement plan from 2004 or 5. You know? And we're paying for the roads work that we did back in 2004 or 5. Now, I know in 2012, we're going to have we'll have retired the majority of our vans. And as Ken was alluding to, if you read in the newspaper, one of the things that's killed our fellow municipalities around us is debt. Because it's not the interest, whether it's 5%, 2%, it's the principal and interest. You put those together, and you've got to tax the people a lot of money to pay for them.
By the end of 2012, we will have essentially one tax-related ban. We'll have a couple of the special districts which don't impact the tax rate. At the end of 2012, our debt on a band of bond anticipation note, which is short-term debt, will be gone. And we'll have the two long-term